Hello, welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Today I'm going to be taking a quick little overview video of Kleros. Kleros, whatever. Kleros is a pretty interesting project. It seems to be around since 2017. Well, at least the Twitter has been. So it's been around for quite a long time. They have quite a suite of products that all kind of uh, um, revolve around this Kleros Court system. It's pretty interesting. As usual, I've read through the docs. This is where I'm basing all my information on. I don't really have a flowchart for you. I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit, give you a quick little rundown of each of these little products that they offer. And then, as always, I would suggest you, if this is something that seems interesting to you, then I would suggest you to come and check out the docs, go to their communities, ask more questions, dig a little deeper, and find out if this is something you're interested in. Okay, so to getting started, like I said, most of their products revolve around this court system. Okay, now this Kelleros court system is a dispute resolution protocol. So it's a permissionless court system for deciding, who is the winner of some sort of dispute, and it's quite interesting. Okay, so the first thing that you have to that this Kelleros needs is they need a pool of jurors, okay, a bunch of people who are going to decide the outcome of some sort of dispute, right? So these jurors, in order to become a juror, you would go to the front end here, and you would say you would go to Kelleros, you would join a court, and then you would kind of decide which court you want to be a juror in. Okay, so if you know stuff about blockchain, right, maybe you would click blockchain. If you know stuff about video production or what have you, it depends on the specific like output, right? So let's say you chose blockchain. Then let's say you are a non-technical person, so you understand how blockchain works, but you're not really good at like, assessing smart contracts or reading code or something like that. Or there is something like technical would be you are kind of, you understand the Solidity language, you know how the ABIs work and smart contract technology and stuff like that. So basically you would choose one of these courts that kind of suit your expertise or your understandings, and then you would click stake. You would need some PNK tokens. You would stake them, and then you would be put into the pool of randomly selected juror people. Okay. Now there is a part up here where it says the PNK token, and they go into quite depth on why they have decided to make a token and why they think this product needs a token. And it's pretty interesting. Like basically, it helps to protect against a 51 attack, and like you can read this, but it's quite interesting. Like they talk about why they need a token and so forth, and basically it stops from 51 attacks. They said that they could use Ethereum, but instead of using like Ethereum is like if people are staking a lot of Ethereum in here, then it doesn't, like when you buy Ethereum, you don't move the price as much when you buy a whole bunch of PNK tokens. So like in order to get 51 attack with PNK tokens, you would have to move the price of PNK quite substantially to get 51% of it. Whereas Ethereum, it would be easier for you to get 51% of the Ethereum that is staked inside Kelleros. Okay. And then also the fact that maybe if there is a case where sometime 51% is actually achieved by an individual, then they can kind of fork it and use a new token, right? And that's like a worst case scenario type thing. So to become a juror, you need to get some PNK. You decide the court you want to be a juror in, and based on your understanding, your expertise, and then you would then stake those PNK tokens and then wait to be selected. Okay, when you are selected, you're paid out in Ethereum. So if you are selected and you do a vote, you get paid in Ethereum tokens, not more PNK tokens. And now, how does the process all work? Let's see. It's quite simple. Like some some reason there's a dispute, right? And somebody's like, hey, this should have happened this way, or this should have happened that way, whatever that dispute is. And if someone wants to bring that dispute to court, then they will like basically put up a bounty or a bond, right? And then that dispute will be the jurors will look at the evidence. So it will the jurors will be selected, and then the both parties, any parties, can kind of provide evidence to the jurors to overlook and to review, and then the jurors will then review that and decide on how they want to vote. Based on the voting, then the outcome will be achieved. And if if that person, the disputer, wants to appeal, then he can appeal. I believe he has to pay some more to appeal, put up a further bond. More jurors will be selected, and then the voting will happen again. And then if he accepts the ruling, he takes the ruling, and then the outcome of that bond kind of goes to where it needs to go. He pays off the jurors, and that system that dispute is resolved. Okay. Now, the whole idea here is that like this court system is not something that you would probably use after the fact. It's probably something you would want to integrate and build into the system that you're already building. Now, I did do a little video a little while ago on my channel on this protocol called unslashed finance, and it's an insurance protocol where insurance claims that are disputed will go through this Kleros protocol. Now it's pretty strange that I did this video like over a year ago, and I didn't bother to look at the Kleros protocol, but anyhow, here I am today looking at it because it was put into my shill list. So it's pretty straightforward, this court system, right? So I think I think you have a decent enough understanding to kind of go with how this court system works. Okay. Now moving on, they do have this court version 2, but I do believe there's not a whole lot here, but I do believe it's just kind of a new front end that's a little more transparent and so forth. Now there are these other products that are all created within this Kleros system. Okay. So there's this proof of humanity. They're working with this this other protocol to build up this proof of humanity. Now, proof of humanity is pretty interesting, and basically it is a way to prove that you are a human and not a bot or a sibler, like a duplicate of the same person many times with different aliases. So you provide some sort of video of yourself, and that video is analyzed to say that you are a unique person that doesn't have an address assigned to you, and then you have like proof of humanity. Now, there are a lot of cases, or there's a lot of uses that they talk about for this proof of humanity, and I agree with this. Like, there are definitely cases where people don't want to dox themselves, so to speak. They don't want to prove their humanity, so to speak. But you don't have to do this with all of your wallets. You could have a single wallet that is your proof of humanity wallet, and you don't kind of link it to the things that you don't want to be linked to that proof of that doxed version of you. Okay, but so one of the things they talk about is universal basic income. If they want to give everybody some tokens or something like that, then it's better to know that every account that they're giving it to is an individual person and not 17 accounts for the same person. Okay, so they talk about DAOs using the same idea, better funding mechanisms. So like basically it's all about Sybil resistance and trying to stop people from spinning up multiple accounts to kind of to game airdrops and game like accounts and stuff like that, and benefits and stuff like that. And they talk about in here about using it for like zero proof as well, like so you don't have to show all of your history. But they also talk here about having citizenships or like your professional certificates and credentials and stuff like that inside this proof of humanity. So now the proof of humanity would work great for kind of in the courthouse. So like if you wanted to like dispute that you are in fact the owner of this real world asset and that somebody stole it from you, then proof of humanity might be able to be used in that. Or even if we want the jurors to be all actual proof of human humanity jurors, so they could instigate that. They could use proof of humanity inside the court. Now, it does inside the docs. It doesn't say that you have to go through this proof of humanity in order to become a juror. It actually says the opposite. So I'm just saying that that is a possibility of kind of things that they could do in the future. Okay. So the next thing they have is these token lists, and the token list kind of runs on an optimistic verification type thing. So you can kind of come here, you can put your token onto this token list as a token, and then anybody who thinks, oh no, that's a scam, can then dispute it. Then you would go to it would be sent to the court as a dispute and so forth. So this is a kind of a way to a place where you can kind of go see a whole bunch of token lists, tokens that are some that people have taken the time to go through and jump through the loops to put all of the tokens into these different token lists. This doesn't seem to be used substantially. Like I did go to the token list website, and it doesn't seem to be highly maintained as per se, because it might be a little bit older. But the idea is still there that like instead of having you know thousands or millions of tokens to kind of vet all by yourself, you can kind of depend on this in a sense that like it will be the courts will abdicate any kind of token that dispute that happens there. Okay. So there's this curate, which is a list, any kind of other lists. So you can kind of think of it similar to the token list, but it's kind of like any other kind of lists. So maybe you could think of it like adding information. Like I was when I was reading this, I was kind of thinking of a use case like Wikipedia, where people are providing information to Wikipedia articles, and then if somebody provides incorrect information, then it can be disputed in that same court system. Okay. Now, moving on, they have this oracle. Now, this oracle is like proof of truth. You can kind of think of it like that. Like basically, it's not like what you would consider like a Chainlink oracle that's constantly providing a price feed for an certain asset or something like that. It's more like answers to questions in the real world. If that answer needs to be provided, in order for some system to function. Like here's an example: like who won the gold medal of the individual kata karate championships in 2004. That would be something that I think it would be easy enough to verify with a Google search and stuff like that. But let's say you were doing some sort of betting system, like betting program, where the answer has not come out quite yet, and then you want that answer to come in at a at a quick basis, then you could kind of use this to get that answer kind of fast. Now, again, this works kind of more like on a optimistic system where the answer comes in first, and then if anybody wants to dispute that answer, they can dispute that answer. Okay. So obviously the person who wants to get the answer to this question needs to post some sort of bond, some sort of payment so that they will get that answer, and then it kind of goes through the system of, who provides the correct answer first and who isn't disputed gets that bond, so to speak. Okay. Then they have this governor contract, which is quite interesting, and basically this is it's pretty complicated system, but basically let's say you have a DAO, and your DAO has some sort of snapshot, some sort of vote throughout the DAO. All the DAOs decide on some sort of outcome, and then you kind of need that outcome to be built, right? Now, let's say you don't have a team per se. You don't have someone who's legitimately responsible and trustworthy to provide to make that outcome on chain with your contracts. So the idea here is that like somebody who knows how to do it will build the set of transactions that will happen, and then assign it to this governor. The governor will then be the one who can execute those transactions in that series, like because you would have it like you would give your DAO's governor power to this governor contract, and then someone else would come along and set up those sets of transactions and then after some period of time, then those transactions will be executed through this governor contract. Now, if someone comes and sees that that series of transactions and find something that they believe is wrong, then they can dispute this in the Kleros Court. It will slow things down, but at least it be will be disputed and solved in the Kleros Court. Now they have an escrow contract where you can, as always, you can you want to make a deal with someone, you can escrow, like I want you send me this and I send you that, or I pay you this and you do that, right? So then in order for that person to know that you will pay, then you would escrow your contract. So for example, I want you to draw 16 pictures of goblins. So I put the money into the escrow contract, and then you accept that contract as the deal, and then you start drawing those goblins. And then when the goblins are done, will then you will then submit that work to me. I would then release the funds to you through the escrow if I believe that those are not goblins, those are orcs. You need to draw them again, then you can, but you believe they are goblins, then you can dispute them in the Kleros Court as usual. So as you can see, each of these products is kind of built on top of the court system. So yeah, this is kind of why I was saying that, like, if you want to use the Kleros Court, it's better to kind of have the intention of having the Kleros Court as a dispute system before you release your product into the future, into the public. Okay. Now they do talk about this lingual app, which is kind of just a way to translate things. So decentralized translation system. So this decentralized free market translation system allows for translations to be quite cheap because anyone around the world can provide this answer. Now, if that translation is deemed to be inaccurate, it can be put to dispute through that, of course, through that Kleros court system. Okay, and then moderate. This is pretty interesting. They've built this like Telegram moderation bot. So sometimes people do things inside your community and people report it, and then it's left to the admins to decide, which should that person be punished or banned or removed or what have you, and that can sometimes be a hard decision. Whereas in this case, if you had this moderate bot, if somebody were to report somebody and say, hey, this person's doing malicious things, ban them, then this, of course, this Kleros system will allow for that to be done in a trustless, anonymous kind of way where nobody can be like, hey, why did you kick me out? Well, I didn't kick you out. The courts kicked you out. Okay, so that's kind of it. There's a lot here. I just wanted to give you a quick little overview of what's going on here. And again, as always, dig deeper, look more, and find out if this is something that you're interested in, and so forth. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.